is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. All right, so this is the situation we have for you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Invest 92L. It is continuing to rapidly organize as time continues to go on. We now have an 80% chance of development in the next 48 hours. We have a 90% chance in the next 7 days. Environmental conditions appear to be conducive for additional development, and a tropical depression is likely to form in the next day or two, according to the National Hurricane Center. However, I've been looking at this, and I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if this develops today, honestly. The reason I don't is because, well, this is organizing very quickly. Thunderstorms are starting to concentrate more into the center of, or near the center of circulation, and that rotation, at least abroad, is continuing to develop. The outflow is continuing to expand, and it's continuing to improve by the hour as I've been looking at it. So here's the current storm information as of right now. The location is at 9.7 degrees north, 30.6 degrees west. The maximum winds are now up to 25 knots. They were at 20 at the last update. 1010 millibar central pressure. That was down from 1011. So this thing is starting to organize, and it's slowly starting to intensify. What's really fueling this thing is, once again, the warm waters, 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit if you live in the United States. If we look at the ocean heat content, where it's at right now isn't necessarily that impressive, but it is going to start entering areas around 50 to 75 OHC. So that's what we're paying attention to right now. We'll have to wait and see what happens when it gets to those waters. The wind shear is continuing to improve. This is where the system is at right now. The wind shear where it's at right now is like 15 to 20 knots or so, which that's actually not too bad if you want hurricane development or tropical system development right there. Now we're going to go ahead and show you the track models and the intensity. Track models are pretty interesting right here because half of them have them splitting and missing the Lesser Antilles, basically due to the Bermuda High. The Bermuda High is pretty much right here, and some of the models are calling for a weaker than anticipated Bermuda High and having the storm push off further to the north, while others have it moving through the Lesser Antilles or right towards the Lesser Antilles, anticipating a potentially stronger than high Bermuda High. Essentially what this means is that the how strong the steering currents are, which is what the Bermuda High essentially is, will depend on where the system will hit or where the system will organize and develop it, essentially. That's our track models. If you take a look at the intensity models, we have the majority of the models calling for hurricane development, as you can see right here. However, we're now starting to see some models that are calling for major hurricane strength, including the HMON and HWRF, as well as the ICON and DSHP right here. So this is something we absolutely need to keep an eye on, something we need to take very, very seriously, as this could be potentially impacting the Lesser Antilles. Now we're going to go ahead and show you a few model runs. We have the HMON, the HWRF, and the GFS to show you. We're going to go ahead and start with the HMON right here. The HMON, you start to see this thing organize and develop. Right here strengthens into a tropical storm, as you can see, in the next 24 hours. And then this starts strengthening into potentially a hurricane in the next 48 hours. The pressure's down to 990. The winds at 850 are over 80 knots at this point. So yeah, I would say this thing's a Category 1 hurricane, and we can, like, the max winds are 850 or 89.2 knots, which is about 103 miles per hour, if I'm doing the conversions correctly, and that going down to the ground, that's definitely going to be hurricane strength right there. And then this thing continues to organize and strengthen. It starts developing a core to its south right here, and then it starts to intensify by basically 96 hours out. We're already at a 972 millibar hurricane, potentially high-end Category 1, low-end Category 2. We'll have to wait and see when it comes to that. And then this thing continues to start to basically, it starts stagnating a little bit, starts to reorganize, and then it really starts to intensify 5 days out down the road. And we're seeing winds at 850 millibars over 125 knots, which that could definitely translate to potentially Category 3 strength down on the ground. Now we're going to go ahead and show you the GFS run. As usual, we're going to go ahead and show you 5 days out, just first to show you what's going on. First 24 hours, However, this thing strengthening into a modest tropical storm. Then things really start to ramp up in the next 48 hours. We're looking at a 61 knot at 850 millibar system right here. That could definitely translate to 50 to 60 miles per hour on the ground. And by 4 days out, we are looking at a Category 1 hurricane according to the GFS right here. And then by 5 days out, as you can see right here, we're calling for a 970 millibar system right here. Potentially high-end Category 1, low-end Category 2, according to the GFS right here. So definitely something to continue to take a look at. We're going to go ahead and show you the HWRF run now. And this, as you can see with the HWRF, things start to really ramp up in the first 24 hours. Basically, the maximum winds are around 63 knots at 850. That could translate to a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm in the next 24 hours. And then this thing really starts ramping up in intensity. In the next 48 hours, we could anticipate hurricane strength, potentially mid-range Category 1 right here, as you can see. Then it takes some time to organize, build up a core, and then it starts to really intensify as time continues to go on. By 4 days out, we're at a 969 millibar system with maximum winds at 850 and 106 knots. That could definitely translate to Category 2 winds on the ground. So we'll have to pay attention to that very closely as time continues to go on. And by 5 days out, as you can see, we're starting to look at potential lesser impacts in the Lesser Antilles. Right here, we're looking at Guadalupe. We're looking at Dominica. Right here, we're at 959 millibars, potentially a Category 3 system right here. And basically, we're starting to see from the HWRF land in sight, essentially. So it's still a little too early to figure out if this thing is going to impact the Lesser Antilles or not. However, one thing we will do is keep you updated as more model runs come out and as we get more information. So we'll continue to update you here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Helps us out, helps us make more videos like these. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather. But with that being said, have a wonderful day, guys. Stay safe.